Welcome to Envato Tuts Plus Premium. This course is titled Creating Vector Art, and this lesson is Balancing Base Colors. Now that we have all of our base vector shapes completed, in place, and built with precision based off of the drawn form underneath, it's now time to start working in color. Color is very exploratory, very experimentation driven, and all we're trying to achieve in this video is to balance the base colors of our given illustration. That is, these colors will be flat. We're not going to worry about the detailing or using gradients at this point. This is just to establish a base color and balance the colors overall within our given design, and that's what this video is all about. Once you have all your base vector shapes in place, such as we have here, you're ready to do the base coloring. Now, if you look over at the layers palette here, I've placed each of the different parts, such as the mouth on its own layer, the beard, flames, so on and so forth. So there's a hierarchy to the layering. Not only that, there's going to be a hierarchy to the coloring. And the first part of working out that color balance and hierarchy is to just, what I like to do is lay down a base color for all the various shapes, and then I'll go in after that in the next phase and I'll start working in more refined detail like shading and modeling that shape to give it a little more form through gradients and transparency modes. But the first stage is just laying down the base colors on this. So that's what we're going to start with here. And so the first thing we'll start with is the flames. We'll turn, sorry about that. We'll turn everything off except the flames. We'll zoom on here. As you can see in my swatches palette, we have a bunch of swatches that are automatically loaded into my profile template for Illustrator. These are colors I've used in other projects, and they're proven colors. I've seen them printed in offset printing, and they come up with the exact coloring I like. This is a range of tonal values for skin tones from light to dark, blue shading, browns, so on and so forth. And I use these in order to facilitate the coloring easier. Why recreate the wheel when there's certain base colors you're always going to go back to? That said, there is no color here that I want to use as my base. This is the closest base color for my my flames, but I want to tweak that. As I stated in the first video, color exploration is just that. It's an exploration. There is no systematic, this is exactly how you do this, pull down here, click here. It is exploratory. You will kind of go 3 steps forward, take 2 steps back, and then you arrive at something that's going to work. So we'll try different things, and they might not always work. So you might see me kind of experiment. There's a lot of experimentation here, and I think this is closer to the base color. One thing, when you're creating your colors, you always want to work in global colors. It really makes no sense not to use global. You can turn that on by default in the preferences. I don't have that turned on, but I'm going to make this a global color. And the reason why is you can make universal changes and be assured that that color throughout your entire illustration or design is going to change. So we're going to use this as the base color for these flames. We'll go ahead and fill that with that color. Now on these colors on the inside, these all I want to somewhat be the same, so we're going to just make sure they're one compound path, and we're going to fill that with the same color, but we're going to make it like about a 70% tint. This is just supposed to represent probably even a little less. We'll go to 50, see how that looks. And I think that'll work for right now. A lot more we're going to do on the flames, but at this point, I think the base coloring is done for that. So we're going to go to the next thing. The next thing in the layers is wings, but the wings, I'm still not completely sure if I want to make those white or some other color. So I was going to hold off on those until we work out the rest of the detail. So we're going to just work off of the base of the face. We're just going to go ahead and fill that with a color. And that'll serve there. This is a color I like to use on the inside of like mouths and other parts of a fleshy body. Is I don't like to use black. I like to actually create a deeper, richer kind of color that will represent the dark areas. So in this, we're going to use filled the stroke. We're going to make the base color for that this color. So that's the base on that. Now we're going to go to the facial detail. Some of this I want to see the color underneath and how it's interacting. So I'll lock the face color, that way I don't accidentally shift that or move that or anything like that. And at this time, it is going to make sense to kind of turn on. We'll go ahead and do the eyes and everything now. So obviously eyes, it's a human, so we're going to make those white. And I'm not completely sure about the color of his eyes yet, but I'm going to guess we're probably going to go with some type of blue or maybe even green. Maybe green might be kind of cool. Yeah, I'm kind of liking green. I think we'll stick with green, and we'll of course make the pupils black. Now, I always, when I'm doing illustration, I never use the default black, which is just 100K. I like using a rich black, 40% cyan, 20 magenta, 20 yellow, and 100K. So I'll go ahead and fill that. And those are the base colors for there. His beard is going to be a brownish color. So I'm going to make his eyebrows a brown type color. We'll probably go back and work out that with more detail. Once again, we're just working out the base coloring on these. So we're going to go ahead and move to his ears. Now, because his ears are technically a little farther back, we're going to make the base color on the ears a little darker than the face, the skin on the face. And you can see this is just taking shape. And I like using the eyedrop tool because sometimes it's just faster to do that in order to colorize it. So we're going to go here and make the nose a distinctly different color. I'm just going for a certain kind of feel for this illustration. So we're going to make his nose kind of stand out in that respect. And I'm not completely sure about what will work best for this, but we'll try this. And we'll probably go in later and play with that a little more. These, I'll make one compound path. Fill it with the same color as the nose. There. And then, like with the flames, we're going to make these liver spots a little lighter. That's actually too light, so we'll go there, see how that looks. And I think that looks pretty good. So you can see how this is progressing. You're starting to balance the colors, starting to work out the details, and beginning to bring life to the illustration. This is really flat. This doesn't have any really life to it. Those are the details we'll add as we go along. Here's the mouth. So we'll color these a lip type color, and I kind of have that. I use this color for that. And we're going to fill this with this color here. And we're going to fill that with this color. And with the tongue, I'm going to go with that. And this is the case where we'll definitely go back and play with these colors, and that'll be in another video. I really don't like this shape here on the tongue, but I'm not going to worry about it at this point because we're going to go back and we're going to fix that. So what I want to do is I don't want these to be a compound path. I want each shape to be independently selectable. Color these white. Once again, we're going to add detail. We're just working out the base, so you see how this is starting to build up. We'll go to his hair, select the little wisp of, and we'll color those this. We'll slide down here to this, and what I like to do on this is I kind of go back and forth. Start off with a light, go to a dark, select this, go back to light, and I never want the two of the same colors meeting up. I want to be separated by a distinctly different color. So you can see what I mean by the way I'm breaking that up here. And that just adds some nice contrast and interest. And we're going to do a lot more with this when we start working with some of the gradients and fine-tuning those. But this will work. So let's zoom out. So there he is so far. So we're getting there. We're going to go back to the face detail, and you can see just even in this non-colored version, when I turn off the face detail, it adds a lot of character, and that's kind of what we're after here. This is one where we'll start working out the color, and you can see the slight difference in tonal value. We'll go a little more extreme here. And we'll go even more. Now, once again, these might not stay exactly as we have them here. It's just to start working out this detail more. So we're not going to worry about the exact tonal values. We'll dial that in once we start refining those details. Okay, especially here because we don't want this to be a hard edge down here. So this will actually, we'll do that in the next phase where I'll blend this out using a gradient. And this one as well, we're going to have this one kind of blend out in a gradient too. But actually, I want to keep this color, not the other color. And we'll just continue to work out these details. Select this and actually make that this color. And so you can see how it's starting to breathe some life to it. It's starting to define the characteristics. Now if we turn on the flames, you get a good idea of what the final artwork's going to look like even at this phase. And I think we will keep these wings white. I think that'll work. And they're going to be mainly defined with the background glow color. That'll define the outer edge. So on some of these, they might look like they're disappearing because we don't have that built in yet. But you know, don't worry about it. It'll be there. So we're going to select, I'm just going to go ahead and select all of these and just assign them white. And they'll really come to life. That's all we need to do at this phase. They'll really come to life once we start working in the gradients. And I'm making that one blue since it's the one further in the back. And just to give you an idea, I do have this background shape. Now this background shape is for me to do a glow effect on. I'm not going to do it this phase, but so you can kind of get a better idea of what's going on, I'll go ahead and bump this one up just so you can get an idea of you know, what's going on. And we'll increase that. We'll go let's do 9. I guess 9 is okay. And this is, once again, this is just to give you an idea. We're going to lock it so we can't move anything and turn stuff on so you can see the definition of the wings. So that'll give you an idea of what it's going to look like. We're going to turn that off now. And so the next phase, this is the base coloring. This is kind of the way I approach building every design I work on. I don't worry about the nitty-gritty little minute detailing on different aspects because I'm going to go in and focus in on one certain area, like this eyebrow, and I'll work out that eyebrow until I like it. I'll work out the detail around the eye until I like it. And then once I have that, then I can transfer it to the other one and build it out the same way. So I'm going to show you how to do that in the next video so that you can see how to go from this stage with flat colors and to now introduce some different effects such as gradients and shading and other type of detail to really breathe life into that. And not only that, I'm going to show you how to, once you do this a few times on projects, it's always good to remember what you've done in the past because it's going to play a part in what you do in the future. And so I'm going to show you how you can take attributes from other work you've done and borrow those instead of recreating the wheel to make your whole process go faster.